Morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to this event. The event is the Startup Ecosystem Unveiled, hosted by Founder Institute Abuja. And basically, the startup ecosystem, which we're unveiling, is the network of entrepreneurs and innovators. We're honored to have with us great ecosystem startup leaders who have toiled and labored hard in Nigeria, to grow the startup ecosystem, which is still growing. And it's indeed a privilege and a big honor to have these top leaders, without which, if you're discussing the startup ecosystem, these names must be mentioned. And it's also so important to hear from them, how they have supported the ecosystem and how um, entrepreneurs can plug in for maximum success, uh, how the dots all connect. Thank you once again, Charles, Andrew, Raf, Oyewale. We're expecting uh, Mohammed to also join us. I was being accused earlier that there was no female on the team, but anyway, we'll continue to have this event. So please pardon me and please share the news to the network. So I see some attendees who have joined already. You're all very welcome. So we are Founder Institute, Abuja, and we are the world's largest pre-seed accelerator. Catherine, to share. We're the world's largest pre-seed accelerator, and HQ is in Silicon Valley. Here's what our agenda for today looks like. And so we'll be having the chit chat with the panelists back and forth. It's going to be kind of informal. In FI, we call it like an on-conference. So basically discussions and chats. Yes. So if you're building a startup, a company, and you want that company to become a fundable one, the number one place to be in is Founder Institute, which is an institute that helps to train entrepreneurs. Yes, so it's a startup school. Currently, we have helped over 6,000 uh, plus startups who are now alumni of Founder Institute across the globe to help build fundable businesses. We're present in 100 countries and rising. And our alumni have raised over $1.7 billion from investors, $35 billion, and is rising at the moment. In our network, we have 25,000 plus mentors and leaders. These are CEO mentors who are all business owners or have run multiple businesses, which they experience, which they deploy, whilst hand holding and mentoring and coaching startups during the program. And we have a venture network. And currently we have 2,500 plus investors in that network. So where we make bold to say that we could provide end-to-end solutions, everything that a startup needs, to get up from idea to growth stage, funding and all that you need. IPO, our goal is IPO, and we're determined to, help founders out of Nigeria get to IPO, through tested and proven system. And so this is the flow. We start by educating startups through the core program that we have, which runs for 4 months. We will usually have events, engaging the ecosystem, and within which we will partner with some actors in the space like Startup Weekend and um, uh, the startup school, and Techstars, and a whole lot of other organizations. Currently, we're plugged into ISN hubs. They're here, YIIN, and all the other actors in the space. We have, events so that we put stakeholders to understand what exactly it is that we're doing. And we eventually will plug in entrepreneurs into the accelerator program, which we run for 4 months. That's our core program, and where your ideas are vetted, which now helps you become fundable. Now, like I would always say to most entrepreneurs, when you want to take a loan from a bank, you have to be, you have to own an account there. So running your business, technology startup, you need to plug into a network. You need to plug into a network, then you can tap in and leverage. The investors, most entrepreneurs will say they're looking for capital is the problem, capital. Yes, the investors are also looking for return on their investments. Okay, and so you need to be vetted. So it's important to accelerate, go through an accelerator program that will help vet your ideas. And when once your idea is vetted, tested, market ready, you gain traction, then you become fundable and attractive to investors. So what we're doing is it's an investment, investors, private equity infrastructure. So it's an investment readiness program. So you gain and you gain more by plugging into the network and having, your ideas, your thesis pass through this test stage. So we know that this is not the culture in Nigeria, but over the years with, all of these leaders and all the work that we're all putting together, we want to hope that, a few years down the line that this will be the standard norm. If you're building a tech startup, you know that you need to go through programs, and there are programs and there are programs. Now, when you're done with our core program, the next, we plug you into our seed accelerator. Trying to fundraise, you go there. Also will help you with product market fit. Now you can also plug in easily into Y Combinator or Techstars or 500, because most times you will hear entrepreneurs saying, oh, I've been applying to get into Y Combinator. It took me 7 years, it took me 10 years, or some will never make it there. Come and accelerate with us. That improves your chances. So that, is a network. We're all collaborating. We all have a different roles. Yes, we do have our own seed accelerator, which is the funding lab. That's fine if you go there as well. And of course, the seed funding through Angel List and other partners. And now with our venture network, we have a pool of investors and that network that you can plug in and get going. But you need to be in the network. So, and that's why we have gathered this ecosystem players today. Your best bet is plugging into the startup ecosystem. So how do we work at FI, which we've already talked about? We find great people. So all of you who are here attending, who responded to this call and this invitation, you are indeed very, very great people. And, we help you, give you a devoted and global support network. When once you plug into Founder Institute and you become an alumni, it's a global network and you need that. And we give you lasting support throughout the lifetime of that business. And so we talked about our network. We have the largest network, and also this is our roadmap, which is starting with the core program. Within that core program, we have people can come in with, just ideas. Others have developed their MVP with traction, then we can place you on the growth track. If we don't see a traction, we place you on the launch track, because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to relearn within Founder Institute because of the methodology that we deploy. And of course, I've talked about the Founder Lab, which is the seed lab that and also the FI Venture Network, which is the platform we have to help you access funding. Now, it will also educate you in such a way that you can bootstrap. And when you now need to fundraise, when you're expanding, then you now raise money, because raising money comes with its own liabilities as well. So it's important that founders and entrepreneurs understand that. And so you get a lot of this information, by going through our network, and the leaders we have here will also speak to that as well. So the FI is a global ecosystem. We build communities, starting with the Accelerator Lab. Every single operator, like myself, Ajuma Ataguba, who is the Managing Director of Founder Institute in Abuja, we also go through an Accelerator Lab to be able to run the program. So if you see any Founder Institute anywhere in the world, I have Mr. Shegun, Director as well. We have all gone through an accelerator program for leaders to be able to operate the program. And right now, we just added one new program, an accelerator program for apprentices. So if you want to intern with us, that opportunity is available now. And we'll share the link. The apprentice program is closing this Sunday. So you can join and learn how to, plug in with the chapter to give support. It's unpaid though. Yes. And then of course, the major one is where we build the startups through the Founder Institute, through the Founder Lab, and through the FIA network. And then, like I said, we have an end-to-end, we provide end-to-end solutions for startups. We have the VC Lab for building funds. So new fund managers, limited partners, venture partners, all can plug in through the VC Lab, so that we have pool of funds around the world to deploy to the businesses of startups when they decide to fundraise. So featured speakers today are Charles Emembolu, who is the board chairman of Innovation Support Network. And we have our leader, Jiga, who is the founder of Startup Ariwa, and also on the board of FI Abuja, Olusegun Obakeye, who is also on the board of FI Abuja as director, Raphael Issa, CEO, Graysoft Technologies, and Andrew Abu, who is the founder of Young Innovators of Nigeria, and Oyewole Joledo, who is the country director of Social Good Fund for Africa. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you're very, very, very welcome. And we're so, so excited to have you here. I just wish, that this was an on-site event. That's my, my wish. But then if we can't get to do the on-site, we'll do the virtual. So, but we have a virtual on-site event coming up, and we'll send you for that, in the next 2 weeks, where we expect you all to be present. So welcome once again, welcome participants, welcome everyone. My ears are itching to hear from the panelists, but I'm going to also share a little bit about their profiles, a little bit, and then we'll also drop their LinkedIn profiles, and you can click on it and follow them. Yes. So I'm going to start with Charles Olu, who is the board chairman of Innovation Support Network, that is ISN. He's an information technology architecture expert who has interest in innovation ecosystems and empowerment of young people using science, technology, engineering, and maths. His skills include IT, is an IT infrastructure specialist, project program management, negotiations and contracting, change management, business and solutions architect, innovation ecosystems. He has had over 15 years experience in technology and has worked extensively on various projects, extended reality projects like the metaverse, . like the metaverse VR for real estate and tourism. He has built web and mobile apps, helped startups grow, and trained over 300,000 via his digital literacy platform. So let's clap for him through the Gray Academy. So his footprints are ISN, where he's the board chairman, Dexute, where he's CEO, Crestage Limited, he's CEO, Tech Square, Roa Nigeria co-founder. Like, wow, Charles, plenty, and lots of certifications. So time will not permit us to go through it all, but we're dropping his LinkedIn profile, and then you can follow him and read up more on him. And we have no other person than Mohammed Ibrahim Jega, our startup guru, the Baba of them all, founder of Startup Arewa, founder or co-founder of Dominion Blockchain. He's a Forbes Business Council board member, and of course, on the board of FI Abuja. He's also a director with Vogue Pay, My MA Academy as a chief CMO, African Digital Voices nominee, Agritech Hub board chairman, FinTech Association of Nigeria, Financial Services, YIIN board member, on and on and on. And also an award winner. All of them have won several awards. Also, um, we have Rafael Issa, who is the CEO of Graysoft Technologies, holding forth in Kaduna State Axis, has over 15 years experience in tech, has worked on various extended reality projects also, like the Metaverse VR for real estate and tourism, and has also built web and mobile apps, and also trained startups in uh, uh, I mean, help train startups, yes, in courses in the future of work in their hundreds. He has footprints with Agrobase as founder, Grace of Technologies as CEO, Rabbit Studios as the founder, numerous certifications in programming, IoT, business intelligence, management climate change, so on and on. He's has worked on the Cooker Prize for Young Innovators, Kaduna Agritech Bootcamp. Wow. You know, I used the word, I said we are honored to have these guys, the guys that we have here with us today, rich and abound in experience in the ecosystem. Next is Andrew Abu, who is the founder of Young Innovators of Nigeria. Young Innovators will be 10 years this year, and it's an honor to meet you as the founder who has steered the course of the startup ecosystem here in Nigeria alongside other stakeholders. Andrew is a certified ethical hacker, EC Council certified security analyst, research analyst in ICT and innovation and entrepreneurship management. He's the founder of Imperium Industries Limited, board member of the International Center for Emerging Technologies at Futo Mina. He's the CEO of Central Soft Support Services, ED of Tech's Innovation Hub, found the billing officer of Kaduna Electric, NIDA graduate research assistant, where, you know, this is some of his footprints earlier on in life, and also cyber security analyst. Now, looking at his certifications, with IBM as a Scrum Master with LearnQuest, as a Scrum Master certification with LearnQuest, Scrum Master certification, numerous CITP with that's the Certified Information Technology Professional with that of Nigeria. He's a licensed penetration testing, you know, certification with the EC Council, also system security analyst, LBS, associate degree in customer service, eHealth, the Growth School of Business, and on, and has also won numerous awards. The latest being Young IT Advocate of the Year, which was issued by Nigeria IT and Telecoms Award. Wow. I hope we're clapping for clapping for all of them. These are loaded talents in the space and leaders. We also have Oyewale Joledo, who is the country director of Social Good Fund, who has over 15 years of experience in developing and building and scaling businesses that are committed to social good in Africa. And he's passionate about creating positive impact and value through innovation and collaboration. He's the founder, this is his footprints and entrepreneurial journey as founder of SevLead, a company that supports various ventures across the continent, and Respect Tech HR, a product that connects trained tech talent to global tech platforms companies. So if you're here and you're looking for remote work, talk to him. A fintech leader and a former senior manager at Paxful, a global company that provides financial solutions to the global south. So he has an MBA and also master's in agri-economics, certification in product management, Mandela Fellowship, and more and more and more. His LinkedIn profile will be dropped in the link in that box. More information about him, and so that's it. Okay, also we have Mr. Segun Obakaye, who is a director of Founder Institute, and he's an experienced CEO and business development consultant with a history of working in public, private sector, skilled in management, non-governmental organization, strategic planning, and entrepreneurship development, and project management, with a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Abuja. His footprints include being the CEO as a financial analyst of Three Vines Solutions Limited, finance coordinator, Population Council, Enterprise Nigeria Foundation as a coordinator, and Nigerian Telecoms, NITEL. This was in his earlier years as an admin and budget officer. So this is our spread today. And so panel, please, if you can put on your videos so that the participants can see these great minds, put a face to these great minds with this, noble profiles. And so thank you. So you're all very, very welcome. And it's just such an awesome delight to have all of you here. And thank you for all the support you've given to Founder Institute thus far. We're in this journey together. And thank you. So we'll move on to the next phase of the program, and I'll hand this over to Mr. Segun, Director of Partnerships, to move on.
Thank you, Lady. Thank you so much. The Meet the Ecosystem is one session that I'm always excited to be part of, because, you just see wonderful faces, great minds, people who are putting all into the ecosystem. Abu, Charles, Mohammed, you're always there. These are faces, these are names that I just keep on knowing. Oyewale, great work there. Ralph, Charles, you guys, thumbs up. And for the attendees, this is like an A-class, like you do a team selection, a dream team selection for the ecosystem. Here are the guys here. 5 of these guys are just wonderful. Lady, you guys have been doing a wonderful job. So we're moving on straight off. And a lot of people want to hear from us. So I'm going to be, tilting the discussion. It's Lydia said it's basically informal, semi-formal, but it's nothing complex. Just let's talk about the ecosystem. Let's talk about what we're doing and all that. So for the first session, it's going to be 3 minutes for each of us to talk about what we're doing. I'm going to start with Charles, then move on to each of us, what you're doing in the ecosystem, what you're is what your organization is doing, what you are doing. Just 3 minutes. I'm not going to be timing us because I know we're so good in pitching. So I'm just going to say it. You guys just roll out and let these guys be inspired and understand why they need to be part of the ecosystem. A popular parlance in the local setting in Nigeria here says, follow no road. So these guys following you guys would definitely mean success to them. So Charles, what are you guys up to? ISN, what are you guys doing? ISN started with just 75 hub owners, and now you guys are out there with close to 150 plus. So what do you guys have for us in the ecosystem? Just 3 minutes quickly before we move on to the questions and answers.
Okay, good morning, good
Morning.
afternoon. Depending on where you're joining from, I'll start by thanking the Founders Institute team for having us on this session, for having me sharing with you. I mean, it's a known brand. I've been part of Founders Institute, sharing and communicating for years now. I'm also saying hello to my co-panelists, some of the notable faces, a lot of whom I know and have been in this play in different capacities over time. Just to provide a little bit of background, I think ISN is a journey of passion, of which some of the panelists here are also some of the founding members, notable founding members from across the country. And basically, it was a group of people, led by the vision to work together, to collaborate, coming together sometime in 2018, eventually leading into an incorporation in 2019 for innovation hubs, co-working spaces, accelerators and incubators, to say, let's collaborate, let's come under one platform and create a network, a national network that will foster development by empowering startups, nurturing talent and development programs, including trainings across board. And you're very right, from about 75 members, I'm happy to say that today we have over 192, about 192 members across 31 states of Nigeria. But this is not just about the numbers and the journey. It is about the collective will, and the collective good that is possible when a few people come together to say, how can we change our society? And one of the major challenges that we face as a country is also a plus. We have a large and diverse population, which is culturally diverse, educationally diverse, but the demographics is much younger than older. And it then means that we have high unemployment rates at the moment, inching around 40%. If you combine unemployment and underemployment rates, it could even be higher than that. So ISN stands in there working together for the different ecosystems that are within the hub spaces, within the states, to nurture and support organizations from SMEs to startups to ensure that they are able to create jobs. And how do they do that? By being able to build lasting and sustainable enterprises. So I think that is the core mission at ISN. And to do that also requires developing talent, because you cannot build or nurture enterprises or organizations without the right skill sets. So all of these and more are the things you will find across our members. And that enables us to connect with culturally diverse people across different states, localities, and geographies. It has made it possible for our network communities and startup founders to build businesses and access markets that are typically out of their reach, their network, or their own communities. So I'll stop here for now. And again, it's a pleasure connecting with everyone on this call. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Charles. I'll move on now quickly to Mohammed. A lot of us would know Mohammed, say Startup Arewa. but Mohammed has been everywhere. His footprint is everywhere. In fact, Mohammed, which one are you going to talk about today? Are you talking about how you guys got FI into Nigeria, or you want to talk about Startup Area? I'll let you do the Startup Area and then you're
Yeah,
thing.
actually, thank you so much, Shegun. Good
Yeah.
morning, everyone, and thank you
Morning.
so much for having me. And I would like to commend the FI current management for their resilient Lady A. You know, you always have my double thumbs up. You always have my back support
Yes,
anytime, any day.
yes.
So I know I can be in every FI session week by week, and I don't get tired because I am FI and FI is me. FI's success story in Nigeria cannot be written without, in Africa even cannot be written without my name there. So I just want to make it a bit quiet here. But at the little journey we have, my journey for over 22 decades, as 20 years in the industry, uh, for somebody who has been a Lagos product, who co-founded one of the successful payment company called VokePay in early 2008, which we're trying to see how do we be able to bridge the gap in creating support structure. Then when we came into the market, the only payment company that we could integrate then was InterSwitch. And to integrate on InterSwitch, you have to spend almost $8,500. Then dollars was 200 naira. Yeah. So that was like, yeah, 200 naira, then dollars was 200 naira. So you have to integrate to $1,500 because you can be able to do that. And then a lot of people didn't trust their cards being integrated online to do online payments. So we had to do a lot of backward integration in sensitizing people and educating them around the opportunities and also how where we are today, trying to educate them to where we are today, how flexible online payments can be, how comfortable it can be, how secure it can be, and what have you. So, but it's it gladdens my heart to see the evolution of the fintech space in Nigeria and Africa, and seeing a lot of success stories happening, and living back for somebody who grew up in Kaduna and Abuja, and understood the gaps in the space and how best do you replicate what was then, because then there was nothing happening in Abuja and the North, nothing, like nothing, zero. So, and I believe you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can model it in terms of trying to activate that ecosystem by identifying like minds and creating a platform where you can all converge and have a conversation. Because in as much as everyone is doing things at his own what's it called, at its own verticals, but you can be able how do we harness them and be able to bring each other to know who is doing what and how do we leverage on each other's strengths. So that was how we unlocked Startup Area with Andrew Abu here, and Ralph has been part of the stakeholders that really ought to see how we can be able to really galvanize and also uh, create that traction in the northern tech ecosystem. We all know technology has no religion or region, but we need to just see the need of having an activity, because most people who are in the other ecosystem will not be able to leverage on such kind of opportunities that others in Lagos ecosystem are having. Even though in Lagos, if I know then our office was in Ikeja, but I know some of them at Yaba Valley were very close. Then there was only CC Hub and Idea Hubs on that street. So it was just about, if you're not in Idea Hub or CC Hub, then you don't belong on the Yaba Valley list. So we did a lot to be able to understanding that networks. And those guys that started, the founders then early in Lagos, happen to be all our colleagues and contemporaries. We try to bring them in the north to see what we're doing, and let's try to build that capacity around it. And it didn't stop there. We also moved to this east. I was part of the people that set up the Startup Southeast as well, We did Startup Southeast and the South-South with them Uche, and the Southeast with Sir K. Kinsley and CFA to be able to build that capacity around bringing the traction around those ecosystems. I still moved on to Southwest with them, Andrew. We went to with Abiola to do a Startup Southwest in Ibadan, in Oyo State, to also create that kind of traction, because we saw the people of Ibadan not benefiting anything from Lagos. They didn't know what's really going on. So that has also yielded that unlocking to bring the Web Nation, Innovation Hub, Innovation Hub, to bring the community there around there to also see how we could be able to push a lot of things. But in 2017, that was just the birth of Startup Arewa in Kaduna, Abuja, the different activities in Kebbi, Sokoto, Bauchi, Yola, or we helped nurture the Northeast Innovation Hub with the Vice President when we came back from US with him 2016, and having been part of that council, advisory council of Vice President, it gave me a leverage to also do more, to identify more founders of Northern who are building business in the North for us to give back, and those who are friends of the North to be able to do more. And Abuja is now boiling. Kano is I don't know, it's blasting. Kaduna is shaking. Huh? So there's a lot happening now. And look at the Abuja ecosystem today. So really, I'm very excited. Then there was nothing happening. No hub, nothing. Zero. No activity there. The first innovation hub in Northern Nigeria was N-Hub, followed by Blues in Jos, followed by Blue Sapphire Hub in Kano. That's how it kept building. Now we can see everyone coming up, this going on. It's very exciting. And we want more activities to happen, more engagement to happen, but we need to do more of collaboration. Let's leverage on each other's strengths. Let's know how do we create support structure amongst ourselves. My industry experience started from fintech, moved into blockchain 2017 to found one of the emerging blockchain technology company where I've gone in left and right of Africa and emerging countries to educate government and businesses around the mechanics of blockchain, how they can apply blockchain in their businesses, how friendly is blockchain. When people hear blockchain, they get resilient. That's, oh, no, we're talking about Bitcoin. So we did a lot of backward integration to educate a lot of government. And that has seen us to see the blockchain policy coming to be in Nigeria, and a lot of activities happening in Nigeria around the tech ecosystem, supporting NIDA itself to be where it is today. Our hands are there fully. Our footprints are there. You understand? And we've done that just because we really wanted to do something for our people. Let's support young people and innovation. Let's build it. The ISN, when ISN was conceived, I was one of the first people that was put in the house to see how do we build something of ourselves, because I was an advisor for a network of innovators. That's 9, founded by Bankole. Then, since 2007, Bankole founded that platform with myself and Andrew Abu as well. So that has been part of how we've been to see how do we create that nexus in building capacity of the ecosystem. So, Madam Ajuma, I'm happy you've seen the platform, you've seen the ecosystem now. You've come when it's already fertile, when activities are happening, but people have burned their hands clearing the bush. That's what we did. That's what we did from fintech. When we did that from fintech, Paystack came in, Flutterwave came in, and they took off. But they appreciated people that gave them that advice and guided them. But we're happy everybody's succeeding. That's just what we want. And now, the same thing with the ecosystem that we did. We don't want to be talking too much, but we've done the bush clearing, the road paths, creating the road paths, so that people can be able to drive comfortably without potholes. So when I see activities happen now, it keeps encouraging me and exciting me. That's why I always don't get tired to supporting the ecosystem.
Thank you so
Even
much.
when I'm busy, you see, Shago, you didn't do justice to me. I was supposed to speak last. It's not fair to other speakers. My apologies. I was
I
supposed
was,
to. It's okay.
you know, no, it's a
I think
wonderful
it's very
time.
important for somebody.
Yes, and
FI,
it's
I'm part of
yeah,
FI, and
yeah.
we're trying to sell a narrative there. It's very important. Let me allow other speakers. They will take my slots for that
So,
engagement. For sales of
in
place.
fact, this is a discussion where like minds get to talk, and as the attendees listen, they get to grab things.
It encourages them. It
You
inspires
understand?
them.
Like now, while you were talking, when you were talking about your story, you had actually already brought in Uche ISN into the picture. You brought Andrew Abu into the picture. So we see we're all going through along a trajectory where we'll be meeting, and it's so great. It's so nice to hear you guys talk. Honestly,
yeah, all of us are connected. All the speakers,
we're all connected.
We're all connected.
We're
We've
flowing
done different things together, back to back.
It's back to back.
Back to
It's
back.
so great.
So let me allow others to speak.
Okay. I know a lot of things is happening in Kaduna. Graysoft, what's happening? Ralph, how are you doing? I know you guys are so good. And Ralph, by the way, when you finish your 3 minutes discussion, someone just asked a question. By the way, panel attendees, if you have questions, you could drop them. If you have questions for any of the panelists, please just drop them in the question in the Q&A, or either in the Q&A or on the chat. I'll pick them up anywhere you go. Someone dropped a question that had to do with agri thing, and I'm going to push it to later on when the Q&A comes. I'm going to push it to Raphael because I know that Graysoft has something they're doing with agri bootcamp. So I'm going to push that question to you. Okay, so Raphael, how are you, sir? Let's see what Graysoft has for the ecosystem and all.
I'm great. Good morning, Sheldon. Thank you for
yes, sir.
For
just
calling me here.
A quick 3 minutes so that we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not as big as Jaga, so I will need to take more time. Okay, so Mohammed Jaga, to start from there, thank you for such a elaborate introduction. He's a big brother to us in the North. And as a matter of fact, this is a journey that has started for a while now. And Startup Arewa project was something we supported. It was this initiative, but we supported in bringing it to pass, in the North. And as we did that, there was a big need for innovation hubs to start to spring up, and really take the message down to the people, to the founders, and to people who are really interested in taking this technology initiative to another level. And that's pretty much how Graysoft, came about. Launched in 2016, Graysoft has undergone, a lot of transitioning, and but in 2021, 2022, we launched our innovation hub, called Gray Hub, and Gray Hub is actually a community-based innovation hub, here in Kaduna that, first of all, has a co-working space, for people in the tech space to come and have access to, in this part of the world where electricity is a problem, internet connectivity is a problem. So people can come around, and have access to these facilities, but beyond that, have access to team, have access to team to guide them, and we've also tried to put together various wonderful initiatives for people, to come and learn, have various meetups, have various hackathons, have various programs that will help the ecosystem really grow, and as we do that, we also try to ensure that we open up, the ecosystem for people in places like emerging technologies, like virtual reality, the entire extended reality package. As a matter of fact, in the North, where people seem to come last, let's put it that way, what we try to do is to sell to the North entirely that, great things are possible here. So even as much as we try to stay with Web 2 and the regular web development here and there that's happening, one of the things we try to do is to introduce them quickly to what's possible in emerging technology. And so a key strength that we've introduced here is also extended reality. As you have heard in my bio, as a matter of fact, in 2022, Kaduna State became the first subnational government to hold its summit in the metaverse. And it was wonderful at the time. It was really raving. It was all over channels, and all that. And of course, still that year, Edo called us, Edo State, Obaseki is one governor that's also really much tech savvy, and called us to do the same thing for them. and we did that. And we're trying to, merge that with artificial intelligence, and all of that. All of this entirely is to build that singular dream, that it is possible for great things to come out of the North. And we are pushing this with all our might. But very recently, Kaduna did something that is really interesting. They domesticated the Nigerian startup bill, the Startup Act. And since that happened, we have quickly started speaking to Founder Institute to see how we can further streamline our, startup acceleration and incubation program, so that it can follow a very strong and stringent model, and so that as we look forward to implementing the Kaduna Startup Act now, that our people indeed will have to have gone through a really strong model. We're also affiliated with ISN Hub, at the ISM network, and we know that this will really help the entire ecosystem. What we're trying to do is to foster serious growth that is measurable, that is actionable, and that can really compete, highly competitive. We have a few startups, yes, that we have helped to launch, but they're still in sort of a struggling stage. And what we want to achieve here from the North are really successful startups, and this is why you see us doing this sort of partnership collaborations here and there, and all. And I know that these collaborations will eventually yield, thanks to the collaborations we have with Founder Institute, ISN, Ibrahim Jaga, who is like our senior brother here, and all of the other big names out there. So I think that the future is really bright. And I'm sure that in the audience, generally, we have a lot of our community people there, because I encourage them to attend this. And from here, we can really drive something truly, truly meaningful. It's young, and this is a very pivotal time for the North. The North is beginning to really gain a lot of attention. Like, investors are beginning to look at this place. It's fertile, and especially if you look at the Lagos ecosystem, it's a lot fintech driven, right? And so what we are trying to do is not to just, follow that one path, but to really make sure that startup founders who are thinking about problems are really truly thinking about solving tangible existing problems, and not just to prepare pitch decks because you want to raise funds from investors, and then you look at, okay, what are investors hungry for? Is it fintech? If it is, yes, I copy a pitch deck, put it there, pitch, I raise a fund, and I disappear. I don't come back again. And that's what you see happening in Lagos now. People are pitching and learning to pitch because of the investors, not because they want to solve any problem, right? And so that's why one of the areas we're focusing on as well, seriously, in Kaduna State, is in agriculture, because Kaduna is basically, or that region, the Northwest region, is basically an agrarian state. And so most of the problems that they face there is agricultural based. And so we're trying to sit down with farmers, with extension workers, and with everybody who is practicing in that area to find out what
Don't
the
let the
problems
cat
are.
out of the bag. Don't let the cat out of the bag. I have a
That's
question
okay,
on
then.
that area, and I
Fair
want you
enough.
to answer. You and Mohammed would tackle that question. I want the time. The young man is still on the call, and I want
Okay.
him to hear, because I'm going to ask you something about your agri boot camp and all of that technology and agri-tech and all that. I need you to really elaborate, because a lot of people who have innovations, who have ideas, businesses in line with agriculture in the physical space, they always feel left out when you talk about tech.
Yeah.
So they seem to think that tech is absolutely disconnected from agriculture. So you're going to bring it together when that time comes, and it's going to be on this call. Thank you so much.
That's all right.
The next person on the call, we've been transversing in the ecosystem, but never meeting. And one day we eventually got to meet. I'm talking about Andrew Abu, Young Innovators, Nigeria. And by the time he told, by the time we had a conversation for some time, and he just began to mention names. I'm not like, you've been around. I mean, these are some people who have been around for a number. I mean, Mohammed just mentioned his name, and it was, oh, we were here, we were there. I'm like, okay, I think ecosystem. Andrew Abu.
Yeah,
These are some of the, Mohammed, was it part of the bush clearing?
Of course, all of them. You are muted.
You're muted. He was one of the bush clearing guys, wasn't he?
Yeah, good morning.
That's what I'm saying. I say Abu is one very strategic person. He has been a back, like an engine room, part of my engine room. Yeah, he's part of my engine room. So I call him my president. He's presiding over our young innovators in Nigeria. Yeah? Amazing guy, amazing guy. He has been around.
Abu, how are you, sir? Yeah. So tell us about what you guys are doing. Some people on the call right now have not heard about the young innovators. There's something exciting coming up. So in 3 minutes, just let's have a brief about all of that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here today with like minds, my senior colleagues, mentors as well. The Nigerian innovation ecosystem is a very, very interesting ecosystem because it was built on collaboration. So we all know ourselves and we interact with ourselves very, very much and often regularly. The story of young innovators began sometimes in 2010, 2011, 2012. I was in the university then, with NIDA was doing a program called NIDA was sponsoring a competition called National Software Competition. As at that time, I was the National Secretary of Nigeria Association of Computer Science Students, and we identified the problem. Most students then don't even know how to program. There's only few students that know how to program. Then final year student looking for their friends to come and do projects for them. And we said, no, how can we make more students understand programming from 100 level, 200 level. So by the time they get to 300 level, they can actually do their project themselves. So we started the first thing, what we call University of Just Programming Club. So I had the opportunity to serve as the national ASD of NACOS, and I brought the idea to the national level, and we engaged NIDA. NIDA said, look, come to NIDA, come and join us in NIDA, even before you graduate. Come and join us in NIDA. Let's set up the startup. You've done it in the university, let's bring it national level. So that's how I left the university. NIDA requested for me and I landed in NIDA. And we started the NIDA Knowledge Hub for Young Innovators. What you have today as ONDI, the Office of Nigerian Digital Innovation, actually started as the NIDA Knowledge Hub for Young Innovators, which I was the project lead as a NIDA. So we went on to Lions Africa, Demo Africa, brought the first prize to Nigeria. 2011, 2012, 2013, creating awareness. Omobola Johnson then officially gave us the nod to start it as then like a subsidiary of NIDA. That was what led to the beginning of OI, the content in ICT, ONC, which is no longer available today. But you see, it's an interesting journey over the years. But Young Innovators is a community for individual innovators, individual talent. We provide this platform for them to collaborate. It's all about talent. So, and the idea of innovation hubs came later. If you build talent, where are you going to nurture the talent? Which community is going to take the talent, their ideas, their skills from point A to point B? So that's why I met mentors like Mohammed Jaga and Kole at NIDA then. They were coming as the big people that come to NIDA at that time. They're into startup. And I said, look, I want you people to teach me how do I take this from point A to point B. And NIDA gave us the platform. And from there, from 2013 to now, we've been able to build more than 200,000 single individual talent, and some of them have gone up to build very amazing company, just like the Imperium Industries. You see, I'm a co-founder of that company today. It was one of the talents that we showcased in the Aso Villa demo day. I'm sure Mohammed didn't tell you the hurdles he went through to bring Mark Zuckerberg to Nigeria. These are a lot of effort, a lot of hands are burnt in the process of building this ecosystem that we all enjoy today. The ISN network, the Nine network, those are organizations built on collaboration, and with each other's strengths and weaknesses, we put our resources together to ensure that this ecosystem work and continue to work for us. We at Young Innovators, we are concerned about talent, about skills, about developing the individual talent, the character, skill of who gives support, dynamics of our country, somebody will help you. So young innovators serve as a bridge, as a gap to identify talent, provide them with the requisite training, and we are building the largest platform for job creation in Nigeria. So
Mohammed is frozen.
That was the research that led to what you are having as 3MT today. It was a background research that we've done, sponsored by NIDA and NCC. And that led to the creation of the NCC Digital Literacy Program that they are doing across Nigeria today, which we are the technical partners for that program. In Nigeria, we have talent, we have young people, but we need to skill up. So when you have the right skill, our mean age now is at 19.5. So that means there's potential in Nigeria. When the world look at Nigeria, they look at our talent. That means skills mean jobs. So we're happy to be part of Founders Institute program for today. I always use the opportunity to thank Mohammed, because there are very few people like Mohammed in this ecosystem that he brings all free of charge. He'll tell you, okay, this is it, you understand? Key in, because if we have more entrepreneurs like Mohammed in this ecosystem, I'm sure a lot of more startups would have gone home with bigger paychecks, because he does it selflessly and without looking at anything. So I want to appreciate even our colleague, our board chairman in ISN. I remember when I started the TechX hub in Enugu with one of my mentors in NCC that time, Tony Ojobo. In Enugu, we went to Enugu to start this because we identify a gap that the Southeast ecosystem. We went there. I left Abuja for about 2 years. I was in Enugu. I left Enugu. I went to Bayelsa, started the Bayelsa ecosystem. So these are sacrifices that some of us have done over the years to ensure that the ecosystem develops. So we're happy today. The North have caught up, and we'll soon overtake Lagos.
Okay. Oyewole is smiling.
No, there are amazing things happening.
Oyewole is Kaduna boy now. Don't forget Oyewole. Forget Oyewole, Kaduna boy. So he's part of
Kano. If you see what is happening in Kano, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked what's happening in Kano and Kaduna.
I'm sure we'll be able to catch up. I mean, the passion for us is to develop a very, very solid ecosystem across every region. You could imagine how the fire will spread if we have hubs in not just the geographical areas, but we have very strong hubs, stronger than what we even have in Lagos. That means Lagos too needs to up its game and all. Thank you so much, Abu. I'll move on now to Oyewole. Hi, Oyewole, how are you doing? Oyewole is one of our great mentors in FI. He's been there, parks and all. How are you doing? By the way, Oyewole, your 3 minutes, you need to mention something about the HR thing you have going. Please, you need to say something, even if you want to spend 1 second on that. You just don't, please, you have to say that, because it's connected to a lot of things. Oyewole is part of a theme, and there's something they have coming up. So I don't want him to miss out, mentioning that thing. It's called Respect Tech Conference. It's something about HR. And I want him to please, in your 3 minutes, please say something. Make sure you touch on that. Yeah. Thank you. So it's over to you.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Shegun. Thank you, Ajuma. And of course, Jega, we owe each other dinner. I hope you know we owe each other dinner. We always connect, and it's always coincidental that two of us are always in different parts of the world at different parts at different times. Ralph, a brother and a friend. Charles, it's great to meet you. And Andrew, I love your passion. And for us, when we already have started speaking about the ecosystem, and a lot of learned colleagues here have already focused on the ecosystem, I think I just want to go on the path Shegun has already directed for me. If God has opened the Red Sea, why shouldn't I walk through the Red Sea as Shegun has done? So we're having the Respect Tech Conference. Respect Tech Conference is after 10 years of work in social good. Social Good is a 501c company in the United States of America. And we have a yearly budget of between $50 to $100 million to spend around the world on projects that are impactful to humanity. One of the few conversations we've had in the past was, oh, build schools, we build schools. I mean, Jega knew about this. We built schools around Africa. We provided education. But let's call it our North Star metrics right now is focused on employment. Like, we are particular. Get people employed so that they can change and impact their communities. Either people that are building companies, which means they are self-employed, or people that are already skilled and can land tech jobs around the world. So the conference that is coming up is a 1,000-man conference. And when we say 1,000 in the companies, the group of companies that I founded in Nigeria, we really mean 1,000. As it is right now in our hub for our program, our training tech program that we have over 5,000 people that have registered since we launched the Respect Tech product. And we haven't even been able to take all those people, and we haven't even been able to, give all those people the training. Everyone is trying to get prepared for the tech conference that is coming up because it's a little different. Day one is all the panel discourse, all the high-level discourse, all the VCs, all the people that from Elegant Club UK to Founders AI, a software that just helps founders. Instead of you taking note of all those data and everything, the software basically just helps your work, and it provides you data that when you eventually go and pitch or when you eventually go and raise funding, you already have data being tracked on the background of everything that you're doing. So we have VCs, we have a couple of people. Then day two is a career fair, and it is open to the ecosystem. Like, if you are looking for where you want to be, whether you want to start a business or you want to work in tech, because there are two different things. A couple of people don't know that, yes, I know they pay a lot in AI right now, but some people can actually start businesses. And it's great that we are here having this conversation about the ecosystem. So day two is that place also. You can also find a co-founder. If you find a great co-founder, just imagine if all of us here were advising or being part of a board of a company that was founded in Nigeria. A lot of VCs will take them even more seriously because either they know Jega or they know Ralph or they know Oye. So imagine if we are all collaborated to push something that we truly believe. Now, what we made different about our conference that's getting a lot of attraction, and I will not mention some people that have been attracted to this conference, people way beyond even what we think would have been attracted, is that we are having 25 physical locations where people from the north, south, east, and west can physically walk into and go and watch and be part of this conference. This collaboration was expedited by the Mandela Washington Fellowship of Nigeria in association with the US Embassy. So people can literally go physically to locations, whether you're in Kano, you're in Kaduna, or anywhere, you can go to those locations. Then Abuja, of course, is where we are having the 1,000-man event. Now, in that event, one of the few things we are particular about is showing real-life application of technology, not just coming to pitch, not just, since I got back from London, a lot of people have been stopping by at the office. They've created this app, they've created this. I'm like, oh, how does this impact the man on the ground? How does it change things happening in Africa? How does it make Africa better? So in the innovation garden on that day, you would have electric cars, you have drone agriculture, you have AR, VR, you have different things that people can, on the ground, come and see how technology is changing Nigeria first, then Africa. Of course, we have our brothers from South Africa coming, from the Nelson Mandela University, and some other inventors from Ghana and other places in Africa. But we want to show people in that innovation garden that this is how technology is truly impacting. Then on that second day also, there are going to be live interviews. So if you have people in your network that are looking for jobs and they want that first level interview or they want feedback, they can always come. We already have tons of people that are registered for this conference. For me, it's already mind-blowing. But our work around, the ecosystem, we have hubs. We have 2 hubs currently in Abuja right now. Initially, we had 1. Now we needed more because of the number of people that have joined or that have been part of the hubs. We have literally people in the ecosystem training that are now bringing their training system, which is why collaboration is so huge. They are bringing their training systems in training programs in Abuja to our own hub. Why? Because after the training, we do not just let you go and you're out there looking for a job, we handhold you with mentors and we handhold you with partners, both in the UK and US, and make sure that until you land that job, we constantly are giving back to you. Then we also have people that already have built startups in the UK that are interested in this program. And that's why when I was invited to this live, I was so excited because I was like, oh, we can actually do these connections. Founders Institute, those startups in the UK, these guys have Elegant Club, they have Cove Club. These are like members only clubs, but these are like people that literally just have conversations and do investments amongst each other. So it's not always about going through the long, tedious process. I mean, I'm almost sure that if Jega refers me now, I'll get $1 million. So Jega, I don't know why you've not referred me to get that $1 million. Maybe you think I do not need it. Please look at my background. I'm in space. When you give me the money, I will come back. But honestly, I think this is an opportunity for all of us in the ecosystem to come. One of the few things when the person that reached out for this program spoke to me about, he was like, oh, many of our founders are in Abuja and in the north. Is there any package you can have where many of them can come and present during the conference and, get to meet more stakeholders, meet more people that are interested in their work? And I'll say, yes, of course. As Jaga said, I'm a northern person, even though maybe I don't look fully north, but I'm a northern person. I lived in Kaduna for over 20 years. I love Kaduna. The school we built was in Kaduna, the humanitarian school that gives back to over 200 kids on scholarship. So I love Kaduna. Yes, we can have those collaborations. Yes, everyone on this call is invited, but we just have to do it in a way that best serves the end goal of helping our country, helping our nation, and developing Africa at large. I'll leave it there. I will not go back to my past work, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And I'm sure people are asking. By the way, attendees, if you have questions, like I said, keep the questions rolling in. And I'm sure we're all wondering, what is in FI? Why is FI bringing this A-class team together? Lady A has told us so much about FI. Now, what do we do? FI is all about collaboration. FI is all about building a solid network. We operate chapter-based everywhere. We're hosting this event this morning or today is the FI Abuja chapter. Now, collaboration is key to growth. If you want to grow, you need to collaborate. That's where FI comes in. So all of these people you see on the call today, one thing or the other connects them to FI. Connects them to the FI global network. It's either in terms of mentorship, it's either in terms of people like Jega who are not just mentors, they're actually like key components of the FI operation. Andrew collaborating in events and all of that. So for FI, it's about bringing these guys together and ensuring that the ecosystem has the quality it needs to breed these people up. Jega and Mohammed and the rest of you have actually done a lot of work when it comes to groundbreaking. I don't want to use Mohammed's parlance of, but it doesn't sound so like farmer. A lot of groundbreaking has gone on and to create this ecosystem. So collaboration is what we need, and that's what FI is all about. Collaborate to build the ecosystem. Thank you, guys. Thank you, this A team. We're moving on quickly to the Q&A session. I'll be asking some questions and all of that. And if there are any questions from the attendees, I'll push that to us. I want to start from the beginning again. I want to start with Charles. The story of ISN looks like so easy. Like you just put a call and you call on 75 orbs and say, come guys, let's come together. And, and they just decide, let's come together. It looks like a stroll in the park, but somewhere in your eyes, I see that it is not a stroll in the park. How has it helped the ecosystem right now? What is it doing? How has it been, the journey with collaborations and all of that? Is it positive for the ecosystem or is it a time wasted?
Well,
you're muted. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much for all the great contributions. I want to start by bringing in a little bit more detail as to the why. The why was very clear. I mean, the very first time conversations came on, I think in 2015, I was in I had done a lot of work more in the corporate sectors from technology infrastructure through the telecoms, then to financial services, where we help to build out some of the core infrastructure that you see that has enabled even some of the startup activities on the outside. What I mean by the outside is the startup ecosystem. So at some point, I was on the other side, building this out from the commercial banking side, designing those systems, supporting the deployment and the implementation. And then in 2013, I decided to leave and set up a consulting firm, an IT consulting firm, to provide these services to similar organizations and beyond. But fast forward to a year later, by 2014, it had become clear to me that there was quite a huge gap. The skills I had learned, the exposure I had, the enterprise knowledge I had gained was very lacking on the outside, like on the business side, on the startup side, on the founder side. And we had come together and decided to do something about it. So in 2015, we created an organization called TechQuest. It was quite a very lonely journey, and to bring it home, I think it refers back to when the conversation between Idea being very next door to CC Hub. Our first event was at a place called Idea, which is defunct now. I think it was founded by the government and, of course, couldn't be sustained. And following that, I said, how can we reach more people? How can we engage more people? How can we support? How can I share some of the experiences, I had gathered through very expensive training, very diverse knowledge, deploying technologies that are typically not available to the usual guy on the street, because these are corporates deploying millions of dollars in project funding for tech. And I discovered something. I realized that when we talk about the tech ecosystem in the world today where I play more, I realized that there's a very big diverse. There's the tech ecosystem, and they're usually not in the rooms where we are today, like this room. And there's the tech ecosystem. So there's the tech ecosystem where you have the big organizations, the energy companies, sometimes even governments, deploying tens of millions of dollars on technology. I'm talking about businesses like Oracle, Microsoft, and co. for massive systems, secure systems that we typically don't build locally. We usually kind of build add-ons or plugins to them. And I realized that people also needed those skills, and that to build systems or organizations or startups that will, because Microsoft is a startup, Google was a startup or is a startup, however they choose to refer to themselves. We're not building at that level. And I realized that those kind of innovation or capabilities are best built based on research. So in 2016, we went into collaboration with the University of Nigeria, and we built Nigeria's first university embedded incubator called RUA Nigeria Hub. This was a research-focused incubation hub, partnering one of Nigeria's big universities, I think over 40,000 students. But something was very unique about that. I must mention that despite the fact that UNN was my alma mater, I hadn't been there for over a decade after graduation, right? So this was like a homecoming, but new lessons. I realized that within a 1-hour drive, about 100 kilometers radius, you had 12 universities or 12 higher institutions, total of over 100,000 students, and nobody to serve them in terms of thinking innovatively, building businesses, even developing talent that was not just the normal academic rigors of getting a degree. It was, for me, it was mind-blowing. It was a lot of energy dissipation, understanding the size of the problem and realizing that no one person can do it alone. In fact, it's not even half solved. And then we fast forward to me beginning to look at the different states and visiting a lot of them, maybe some of the work that organizations like Nine. I remember then starting up where Nine had come to do a training for us at RUA, I think 2017, if I remember correctly, and realizing that there were so many others trying to do this same kind of thing across the country. Cultural differences, geographical differences, diverse economies. Some were more agro-focused, some were academic focused, like I was seeing happening down in the Southeast at the time with a lot of universities and young people in a small geographical area. Some were defense related. I mean, if I was in a Kaduna, I would be thinking defense as well. We did have one of our notable startups out of RUA build for the army, work with them on some of the drone technologies and detection things that they were working at, called a startup called Aaron, which we had put in some money in at the time. So there are coming to your question, I wanted to provide this background to say there was the why, and this why is the reason why this conversation is very important. You get, because it is important for people to understand the reason why people decide to take on certain tasks, why certain tasks get done faster than others, why certain directions become more favorable at the time based on what we can deal with. And it's still early days. I can tell you, I was having a conversation late last night with one of my friends who is currently out of California. Actually, one of my co-founders at TechWest. And one of the things I told him is that my journey in the last 36 months tells me clearly that whilst a lot of grass has been cleared, borrowing some analogies here, there's still a lot of grass in the way. That's just the truth of the matter. In fact, I said to him that the tech ecosystem, the innovation ecosystem, the digital innovation ecosystem is far from being built. Whilst it is important to congratulate ourselves and beat our chest about what has been done, I see that there's still a huge, there's still several layers of aspects of a successful innovation and startup ecosystem that still needs to be pulled together. And one of the things that come to mind is, you know how it is, there are so many missing pieces. Sometimes the pieces exist, but not even at the level where they should be existing. My experience, and I would share, my experience is that when we started ROA, what we did was to partner with the Swedish innovation ecosystem. And we looked for something similar to what we are trying to build. And in a city called Lund in Sweden, about 35 or 37 years ago, they had come together with a university called Lund University and built what they call the largest science park out of the Scandinavia, called Ideon Science Park. And what they had done was to look at the three core pillars of development, the city, the university, or what we call the academia, and then, of course, the private sector, and triple helix and all the other helix structures that we can talk about today. And if you come to Nigeria, our ecosystem, our country, whilst there's a lot of talk and conversations, the tech ecosystem in a sustainable manner still requires a lot of progress. Of course, a lot of us here may or know about the Startup Act and the provisions that it has, which is a wonderful law. And the implementation of that is what begins to bring together all the things that we stand for. And that implementation is still early days. I think many of us are happy that the law is passed and the potentials that exist thereof. The funding, and I would make this analogy. Let me use the NBA, for instance, from the US. When you talk about the basketball ecosystem, you realize that it is easy to see the finish from the start. So if you play basketball as young as 10 years, it's quite easy for you to understand the fact that if you do well in your primary school, I mean, I'm using a Nigerian equivalent here so that it's clear to all our audience, that if you get into college or high school or secondary school, that if you get into the team and your team makes it to your regional tournaments and makes it all the way to, when you get to about 14, 15, and you get into the to the MBA, you can see clearly how that can translate into money in your pocket, can translate into better education, can translate into you getting scholarships, can translate into even your parents or your region. In fact, it can even translate into, depending on the team you play, how your region, the schools you attended can get a little bit more funding so that more people like you can grow, develop, and come out of that same system. Because that's what the ecosystem is. Not just about a few startups succeeding or a few hubs being popular. It is about that hub that is not in the capital of Kaduna State or in the capital of Rivers State, being able to have produced somebody like maybe Andrew. I don't know where he comes from in terms of his community, but figuring out his journey and saying, how can more funding, more support, more visibility go all the way out so that more of this can be created in a sustainable manner and in a manner that is more replicated. So this journey is very clear. If you take an example of the MBA, it is not very clear when you come to what we call our tech ecosystem or our innovation ecosystem. How can that young man, I went into the university at the age of about 16, going to UNN. How can somebody like me come out in multiples? How is that journey very clear if people do it in a way and manner that the system holds and presents to them, that it can continue? We are not there yet. And I think that the building blocks are being put together. But to say that whilst we say kudos, it is important that we continue to build, but not to build for Nigeria and Nigeria alone, because the world needs Nigeria. I do quite a bit of interactions, not just Nigeria, but globally. And to say that it's not a function of we need help. The world needs Nigeria in the right way. Our talent, our population, our diversity, even what my good friend Obi will call our soft power, our ability to share our kind of culture, the way we behave, our positive attitude. So all of these and more is what make up the desire that brings a lot of the work that has been discussed today to the table, and to say we need to take it from the table and kind of hang it up there, like on a mast, where it becomes a North Star for everyone listening and people like us and them across the whole continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charles. Great one there. Thank you so much. Before I move on, I have a question, and I'll push that question to Mohammed, if you don't mind. John.
What we can do, right, so that we can be able to
manage
the timing, because these are very important people. We're 6 on this panel. You'll not be doing justice for me to talk. And everything.
Don't worry.
Exclude me. I will do the final, right?
Okay.
Just allow them to talk. They are very important people. It's very difficult.
I'm going to be asking them questions too, and I need to ask you a question on blockchain. Okay.
I'm looking at time. Yeah. So please let's manage time.
So let me jump, Mohammed, now. I want to ask.
Push the question to the next speaker. Let's engage the next speaker. Then you now keep doing it. I will just come in last.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ralph, sorry. Now, someone asked earlier on, and I'm going to summarize his question. But basically, it's something I've been hearing for so long. Every time people when they see hubs, tech this, FI, and all of those entities, they begin to think to themselves, this does not belong to me. I'm not part of the people these guys want to help. Why are they saying so? Because they feel that they are in agriculture. They think that they are not into it. Now, somebody wants to ask this. He says, it seems the institute is referring to FI now, and I'm also putting it to you and other such supporting organizations, will only mentor tech companies. It seems you guys only mentor tech companies. Because all I'm saying here is tech this, tech that, tech that. It says, will entrepreneurs from the agricultural export field also benefit? So, I'm into agriculture. I'm a farmer. I'm, doing production. I'm doing processing. How can you guys help me? These tech people. You guys all talk about tech and innovation. Is there any piece of the pie for these people? Quick, please.
Yeah.
And panelists, please, if you can answer our questions in, like 3-4 minutes so that we can really, I've got tons of questions here waiting for you guys. So I really need the attendees to benefit from this. Okay, quickly, sir.
Okay, so I'll just go straight to the point. Thanks for the question. It's sad that we still see technology as a sector, but technology is an enabler of sectors. That's what it is. And so if you understand the concept well, you know why we now have things like fintech. That's the finance tech, right? You know why we have agri-tech. And of course, so for the guy who is in agri and who is in the farming business, there's this platform, Sabi, that really helps the entire help small businesses scale, and all of that. And one of their key sectors that they really fund or really help across the entire value chain of businesses that they cater for is in the agri space. So that's a process that really helps the agri sector. So to answer that person's question directly, there's such a thing as agri technology, and that's what the agri-tech bootcamp is for that we do in Kaduna, or that we just finished in Kaduna. And so let me take the opportunity to talk about that. What the agri-tech bootcamp is to gather farmers, policymakers, developers, young people who come around and look at the agri space, in the region, and then do some research and find out what the current problem is across thematic areas that we provide for them. And once they do that, they start to tinker around solutions for those areas. This program, of course, has been adopted by the State Ministry of Agric, and with grace of as it's implemented, of course, we initiated the project. But it's all in the bid to disabuse the mind of people to see agriculture as not part of the entire thing. Technology is an enabler of sectors. It is there to enable the agricultural sector. So take your agri stuff, for example, and see how, say him or the guy talking about being a farmer. What's the end goal of your farming? You want to be profitable. You want to access off-takers. You want to access marketers. You want to access, let's say, input suppliers. You want to access processors and all of that. There's a technology where all of you can be in a platform. As a matter of fact, we helped build that for a recently for an ongoing MasterCard funded project, right? Where all the farmers across the rice and maize value chain for the region of, I think, Kaduna, Benue, and Nasarawa states, found themselves in just that one platform, and so farmers had access to every other people they needed across their value chain, so long as you were farming rice and maize. It was an innovation platform. So it was called Palm IP, right? And so off-takers like Tribe Agri were also there. So when farmers farm, they enlist their product right there on the platform. If you were part of that, you're a beneficiary of that project, you enlist your product on that platform. I am farming rice, for example. I have it here. This is the kind of rice I farm. I have this amount of rice. I have this bags of rice, this ton, this kg of rice. Once you put it there, people, the off-takers like Tribe Agri and the rest of them, see that and contact you and move that. That's agri-technology right there. Also, such a thing as commodity exchange platforms, are also sort of an agri-technology thing, because as far as Nigeria goes, like FX is one of the most popular ones we have here, are agri-tech platforms where agri-produces are warehoused. And there's a sort of technology called the warehouse receipting. So much so that when you, for example, farm a bag of maize, or let's say you have 100 bags of maize and you have stored them on these platforms, on this warehouse, you have a particular receipt. And mind you, this operates in a blockchain sort of technology, blockchain technology. And so what happens afterwards is that you have the value for that bag of maize, which is acceptable as legal tender, or financial instrument by banks, right? And so you can use that to access financial, services, right? So just to disabuse the minds of people, Gracesoft, for example, here in Kaduna is open to working with people who are in the agri space. You are a farmer, like you said, and you are interested in benefiting from agricultural technology, agricultural business, advisory services, finding ways to convert your agribusiness into startups, Graysoft is the place to come. We can help you with that. All right. So this is for all of us. This is for everybody who is interested in technology, regardless of the sector that you operate from. Agricultural technology is for you, whether it's finance, whether it's agriculture, whether it's engineering, whether it's fashion, whether it's the creative industry. Agriculture cuts across all of those sectors. Now, what's important for hubs across different regions is to specialize in each of these different sectors so that people who need particular kind of services as it relates to a particular sector can identify which hub is specific to a particular sector and go to those ones. And I think that answers that question.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. And also importantly, whatever idea you have, it's always good to take it through acceleration. Let it be reviewed. Let's get a product market fit. And FI is one of those places. So also letting it out there. Thank you so much, Ralph. Okay, so the next question I'll take is from John Towolawi. And I think I'll push that to Ralph. Sorry, I said Ralph. I'll put that to Oyewole Joledo. It says here, how can one create a business idea and make it a reality? Just quickly, please, just help him out. Help him out in 3 minutes quickly. How can I create a business idea and take it to reality? My idea to reality.
So I personally don't. I mean, I've created a lot of ideas. I mean, I personally don't advise people to jump into just, sitting down in a room and trying to create ideas for problems that do not exist. I also understand that with the VUCA environment in Africa, the volatility, the uncertainty, the ambiguity, there's so much more now. And that's why, organizations like the Founders Institute and all these exist. I personally sometimes say to people that when you create an idea, go and tell it to 100 people and ask them, what do you think about this idea? Then after that, ask 50 of those people to pay for it. Just suggest to them that, please pay for this. Do you understand? Or how much will you pay for this, right? So take, for instance, when we were designing the Respectec HR in Brain Station, London, they kept on telling me how we should build a product for Africa. And I was telling them, no, Nigerians will not accept this. I know you guys are, working with Apple, Deliveroo, Tesla, and a lot of them were like, oh, no, I think this will work. I was like, no, the UK and Nigeria and Africa is totally different. So, for that person that is trying to create an idea, I'll say, okay, start with, what are the gaps you're trying to fill? What's the market fit? Start asking questions, right? Carry out surveys, right? Another thing I always suggest to people, right? That's from my own personal experience, is that there'll be a point where you get to in all these surveys that you have to test. Now, the great way to test is to check if people would be willing to exchange money for that service. So take, for instance, we launched a certain service last year, and I think it was this week when I came in, I asked somebody and they were like, oh, this Respectec HR that you have launched, oh, somebody just paid them $5,000 for the service. And I was like, oh, this is something that we just launched in 6 months, right? But we had already validated that there were people already ready to pay for that service, right? So there are different approaches. There's design thinking, there's a lot of approach that the white man can give you. And there are a lot of approaches that, if you go to the Igbo people, and they are like really close to me, the Igbo community in Abuja. So if in case you see me, there's a place called, and I think it's something that even the Founders Institute, we need to look at, there's a place called in Abuja, the Parliament. I'm saying it first on this call, it's called the Parliament. So top Igbo billionaires go to that Parliament. I was privileged to sit down as a Yoruba person in that Parliament, and what I heard, I was like, man, these guys are doing business on another level. Oh, do you have 50 plots of land? Okay, I want 50 plots there. Can you give me 30% discount? 50 plots of land in Abuja, do you know the conversion of 50 plots of land? Not outskirts of, but they're having conversations. So if you are saying, oh, that's an idea or that's a business, it's a different build. And that's why I'm very particular about how we build businesses in Nigeria, how we make them very robust, how we create a plan A to plan Z to make sure that they are. If you are just thinking of building a business idea, as Ralph said previously when he was saying that some people just build ideas to raise funding, you will raise that money, but eventually you will crumble. You make a quick exit, or you find a way to just liquidate. That's not why we are. I don't believe that's why these guys here on the call, we are going through all this effort, all this time to tell you that, oh, there are institutes, there are organizations, there are processes, there are people that can take you to hands-on and practicals, how to create and launch these ideas. Take, for example, I worked with the Island Embassy during the COVID. And in the Island Embassy, we're trying to incubate agri-tech solutions. And about 5 companies applied. And that's why I'm excited when Ralph was saying, oh, even agri companies. Technology is an enabler, period. Technology is an enabler. What is technology? Technology can be a better way to hold water. It's still technology. But a lot of times people are always so concerned about, oh my God, this must be like out of the world. Yes, it's important with all the UI, UX and everything going on, but we need to also think about, what are we saying to these people, and how can we really create sustainable solutions that really help Africa? So during that COVID period, initially, everybody were creating the conversations around what exists in US and California. So they were saying the COVID, and you're creating a fintech, and you're creating an ag tech company, and they were all saying, oh, no, there's COVID. And we started to ask them a critical question. So if your business dies before the COVID ends, what happens to the business? So you are all creating businesses, and the whole US has told you not to go out, which is great. They were fighting the COVID. But this is the time when farmers need to even go out more and market their products and put their products on platform and get logistics company to sign partnership with them and deliver. When we bootstrap all that for them and we show them all the challenges about revenue in that period during the COVID was a no-brainer. We did that in collaboration with Ventures Park and Mimstack and Collar and the rest. But that was like an eye-opener. That it's not just about creating an idea, it's about meeting a need, it's about designing, it's about making sure that they are, especially in Africa, their backup plan. There are political issues, there are economical issues, there are social issues, there are technological issues, there are legal issues. When I'm having conversations with global partners and we're thinking about ideas to scale, we're always thinking about the legal framework, like what exists that would affect this business in the next 2-3 years if we decide to scale. So when you want to create an idea, there are a lot of things you can do. There are a lot of people here on this call you can talk. We can speak about design thinking, we can speak about meeting the gap. But if you really want to build something that is going to last, you must have like that plan A, plan B, and most likely speak to tons of people, carry out your research, ask them. I'm always big, when I build a company or an organization or a business, I'm always big on, can people exchange my product, this product or service for money? Can you give me money for this? So that's a good way to validate. Don't do all those metrics that, back end, you say 5,000 people, 6,000 people have visited your page in one day and all those types of vanity metrics. Don't do, come on the ground, speak to real Nigerian people. And that's why sometimes when I go into certain meetings, especially in my company, and people are looking for funding from our company for their businesses, and they bring me to that meeting, immediately the Nigerians see me in that meeting, they start getting concerned because they know that once they just mention the metrics, and I'm just looking at them, I'm like, so you had 1 million unique signups. How the hell did you do that? No influencer, a page on Instagram that is followed by just 2,000 people, a page that, come on, man, then later on they'll now start shooting emails, sir, I want to have it. No. You should have had that meeting before, and that's why we are creating these platforms. Have that meeting, talk to real founders, talk to real people in the ecosystem, talk to people that have been born. Don't just talk to people that are going to prep your ego. Talk to people that will tell you that this, no offense, this is trash. This is trash. And sometimes it's not that we're attacking you, we're saying the idea will not fly. That doesn't necessarily mean that you as a person is trash. It's trash. So many times when I receive tons of ideas from Africa alone, we receive at least 100 applications or so for us to fund different projects. Many times I don't even announce myself as country director because I know a lot of people is like, I know you guys have quick $20,000 or $100,000 there. I'm like, it's not about having 100. It's about the idea being good. It's about the idea being good and sustainable. So I would suggest to them, with this network here, with these people, after designing your MVP can be on paper, but it might not really be a true MVP on the ground. I am telling you, you will create it. It looks beautiful. It has the best branding colors. It has the customer journey, everything. After that, when you hit the ground, that idea looks good on paper. Nigerians will shred it. They will replicate that your MVP in 1 week and put all their Nigerians. So you need to always take it as a holistic approach. Don't just jump in because you see, oh, Ralph is looking fresh. If Ralph tells you how many times he has been bought, if Jega tells you all the stress, if Madam Ajuma tell you, if me, I tell you that, oh, we've missed $4 million, $5 million, but we've. So, like, if we tell you our true life story, you will sit down and say, before I launch this idea, let me speak to mentors, let me speak to advisors, let me prototype, let me test, let me create a plan B. There's something very big in most tech companies. It's called pivot. You must be ready to pivot. If your ego is too big to listen and say that, this thing is not working, you will keep on sinking money. You keep on burning. Your burn rate will be so high. And eventually, when you want to pivot, nobody trusts you, nobody believes, everything is gone. So these are some of my suggestions. 1, speak to mentors. 2, have a plan B because it's Africa, and plan C and D. 3, test and see if people will pay for the product. Then, of course, design thinking is already everywhere. Design thinking, identify that gap. Just you can design a canvas, but eventually test. At least take a small sample framework and test. Are these people really willing to pay for this product or service? Apart from that, you have the Founders Institute, which I think it's a huge benefit for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In fact, your laser closing actually made me remember something. The Founder Institute is like a boot camp. So a lot of people get angry. They feel you come in, you pay for the cohort, and then you're kicked out of the cohort. Yes, it's better to be kicked out at that point than to invest millions, probably in bootstrapping or investors' money on an idea that doesn't have no validation. So it's important. We always say something. Don't deceive yourself with metrics. I saw Lady A's comment there. she said paying customer is the key metrics. How many people are ready to pay for the idea? Thank you, Ole. That was very insightful. Great one there. Okay, I'll quickly move on to Abu. How are you, sir? I have a question here for you. Yes, I have a question for Abu. Now, there's so much hype about social media, digital platforms. I got a call, I got a chat today from, it was just a an anonymous chat on my WhatsApp. A lady was advertising something she does in Lagos. And she actually, for sake of confidentiality, I won't actually give us the exact phrase, but she actually captured a market niche. It's in the catering, but she captured a market niche that I felt impressed. And something just told me, this lady has done some research on the market. And then, she wanted to see if I would reach. And I gave her some hints about social media and all of that. And she said, thank you. I don't know this lady. I want to ask you this question, sir. How can startups leverage on social media and digital platforms? You're somebody who is very strong in the youth ecosystem, the young innovators. How can they actually leverage on this social media, digital platform to expand their network and probably reach new audience? How can they take advantage of this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. 20 years ago, the way we sell our businesses is quite different from the way we sell business today. Social media for business, for startup, is all about branding. The way you want customers, the way to see you, and the way you want your business to grow in influence will depend on the social media strategies that you use. Because for me, people are working from home today. Big businesses are working from home today because of the leveraging on social media that they're using. So for startups particularly, I always tell them there's a need for you to establish a very strong social media online presence, because that's what profiles you. It's like you are profiling yourself. Platforms, people have gone ahead to make to turn transactions, millions and millions of transactions done over Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. So social media is all about branding. When you establish a strong presence online, so you get to brand your business, people get to see you, you get to understand and establish credibility. So if you're not on social media, you're hiding most of the things you do, most people won't take you serious. A lot of times when I see pitch deck, okay, they give me flyers. The first thing I go and check, okay, are they on any social media platform? Where's their website? I got to look at them to be able to rate them properly. Then you also have to look at content marketing. How valuable are they engaging their products on the social media? So if somebody that is selling, maybe they are cooking from home, they don't have a physical restaurant. So if you have that kind of business, you have a passion for cooking, and you are in your house, you don't have money to even set up this, you can be cooking in your house and get your customers online. Post videos of sweet food that you're cooking on Instagram. Instagram is a very good platform for that. You can attract more followers, brand visibility. These are the powers of social media. Engagement and interaction is also things that a lot of startups don't even pay attention to. There's some startups that you send them messages, you DM their Twitter handle, to take them like forever to even respond. So that's how startups, I always advise startups, if you have a social media handle, even if it's only Twitter you have, ensure that you are consistent, you are posting relevant things that people will understand, people will get to know about your brand. You do some kind of content marketing here and there to ensure that your brand is visible to everybody, and you build that brand credibility over time. You engage, you do targeted advertising. For me, I sell vehicles, I sell ballistic vests, I sell helmet. Even though it's a controlled business for the defense, but we still find customers, immigration looking at us, sending us messages. We see customers online, even if we sell a controlled product. So you never can tell where your next customer is coming from. So social media is a very powerful tool, and we thank God that this is the social media age. A lot of people, even this platform we're having today, we're engaging with ourselves on social media. So we see the power. We know most of us, we are not in this continent now. Some people are in Europe joining us in this meeting. The power of social media. It's a bridge that solves a lot of our physical engagement. You don't need to see me, but you see what I can do. So we need to see how we can even help our business, utilize our business to grow using hashtag. So most times I always quarrel my staff. They post things, they don't even tag anybody. They don't use relevant hashtag to attract a lot of people. People are going to school to learn how to use social media now. So if you have a business and you're not even utilizing 10%, 20% of social media, you are doing yourself a lot of harm. People are paying. I know how much I pay for social media. So you can network, you can meet new people, especially LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform that you can use to get jobs. We know, I can't quantify the number of jobs and the people I've met on LinkedIn. So there are a lot of people that I want to meet. I just go on LinkedIn, I'll DM them, I chat them up, and we start conversation that have led to a lot of businesses that we have done. We have done. So social media, we cannot underestimate the power of social media. We're in Nigeria 2 years ago, besides over a year ago, the Twitter was banned. We know how much it cost a lot of our colleagues that in the social media business, content creators, people in the creative industry. We know how much that particular ban did to a lot of businesses. A lot of people lost their job. So social media is a very powerful house for new engagement, for new money. This is the money of the 22nd century is social media. It has revolutionized the cost of content creation. Look at the comedy industry. See what they're using social media to do. Skits. they do skit, they promote themselves. You can even analyze your performance. Okay, between January and March, how well do I do on social media? What is my engagement rate? You can use that to even monitor yourself and see, okay, how you can improve. So I always tell any business that is not online, you have not even started. Oh, the kind of data they gather online is crazy. It's crazy every day. And data is the new oil. Is the future. Is the future of money. The future of money is on social media. A lot of people don't understand that social media is crazy powerful. You can see even today. Yesterday in Abuja, something happened yesterday in Abuja. In the morning, there's a Chinese restaurant along on the airport road. They stop people from Nigerians from even shopping there. But you see the power of social media. When one or two people raise the alarm, the government noticed it and they went there, they closed the shop down. So people don't understand that social media can be a lot of good. It has its own bad side as well. But when it's properly managed, when we properly utilize and manage it, we can, the good, for me, the good is far outweighs the bad.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, panelists. I'm going to apologize. I wanted to take one more round of questions, but I'm looking at my time. I just have 5 minutes to wrap up this event. So please, I want to take the closing remark by each of the panelists. So please, just 1 minute closing remark, off your head, what you have to say to them. Just 1 minute, please. I plead with you so that I can wrap up. I'll actually be timing also. So let me start from Charles. Let me start from Charles again. 1 minute closing remark for the people on the call. What are your last words for them?
I think a lot has been said. I just wanted to say that the only way forward is for us to build together. There's no other way. And because we are communal in nature, coming from the continent and most especially from Nigeria, most of us have that communal background in terms of building our communities and societies. It is a plus. Let us adopt it and move forward. So build forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Building forward together. Okay, Ralph, sir.
All right. So I think what I'll just say for startup founders is to ensure that you work on your idea, really well, and have a great team after that. Have a great team after that, because the success of that idea that you're working on is largely dependent on the team that's executing it. Right, then go back and forth on your model, do your work, feasibility studies properly as much as you can, and be ready to, like Oye said the other time, be ready to pivot when you get new information and new advice and all of that. Be flexible, because what is obsolete today, what is relevant today is obsolete tomorrow, in this world that we live in. So get ready, be able to change your plan. Mike Tyson also said that, everybody think they have a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Business is going to punch you in the face, right? So get ready for it, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Get ready for it. Oyewale, your 1 minute last word for the attendees.
I think I will just start from where we started from. The conference is June 3rd and 4th. It's super large in Abuja. My hope is that we can get some of the founders in Abuja to be part of this conference and also showcase what they have. For the Founders Institute, definitely anything you need, you can reach out to us. Ralph is my brother. He's going to be there. So if you want to see Ralph and you want to touch him in person, that's good. Jega, I'm still tracking your whereabouts. Jega's whereabouts is hard to find. We'll need a cybersecurity person to find him for me. Charles, I'd really like to link up with you on LinkedIn so that your community and Andrew, I believe this is one big family. So everyone, this is an opportunity for us to put our message out. Shegun, thank you for hosting such an amazing panel, and honestly, very well done. So Charles, I'll reach out, I'll shoot you a message, and Andrew on LinkedIn.
Thank you, sir. But by the way, if you want to track Mohammed, I have a tracker on his leg, and I pay for data. Data is king, data is money. So I can track him for you. I have a tracker also on his brain, so I can track what he's going to do. So just shoot me a mail, and I'll tell you where it's going to be. And believe me, it works. Abu, your last minute for your last minute word. 1 minute, last minute word for us, Abu. Is Andrew okay? Yeah, I can hear you now. You're muted.
Okay. I've said this ecosystem was built on collaboration. We should continue to.
You're muted. You're going off.
I think it's from. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now. You can continue.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Oh, I think we should continue to build strong relationships on collaboration and networking with ourselves. Like you see, the motto of Young Innovators, collaboration to empowerment. So that's one thing we try to leverage on most of the time, because we continue to learn every day. It's an ecosystem that things change every day. We're in the world of AI now. We see how many changes is happening every day. So we should continue to leverage on our strengths. If we don't know anything, I can call on Shagun. I can ask Shagun, can you fill me through on this? So we should learn how to integrate with ourselves more than ever. We are always open to talk to any startup that wants anything. For like me, I'm a connector. I can take Mr. A, join Mr. A, okay, go do your stuff. So that's what we are known for. So we'll continue to see how we can deepen our relationship and further expand our ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mohammed Jega.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just want to commend all these panelists and speakers for your time. Thank you so much for making our time to be here. We will call you back again. And this time around, we're going to promote this event aggressively. And because a lot has been said here for the ecosystem, you are all part of the ecosystem. We all need you. And we're going to, please mark it. We're going to call you back again. We're going to do this event again bigger. Because actually I'm not excited about the attendees numbers, and we need to do more on that. Most importantly, we know for the attendees, congratulations for making our time to be here as well. We all know entrepreneurship is not a position, it's an attitude. You need to prepare your mind towards it, right? It's a serious battle. Yes, I know you want to call yourself a co-founder, a CEO of this, but it's a serious work. And for those who are very interested into going to business or thinking about what you need to do, you need to go on towards the change innovation. There's what we call change innovation. Your ability when you develop talents to skills, and also when you develop passion to business. If you know that you're talented, how do you develop that talent you have into a skill? Nurture it. And how do you develop that your passion, that you have the passion for doing this? You're good at building milk candy. I always give example of this milk candy lady in Kano that I supported with 20,000 naira. Now she's a CEO. She has 3 support staffs. So you need to identify what is your passion and how do you convert it to business. So let's keep building and let's keep collaborating. Let's see how we can be able to make structures into our ecosystem more formidable as a force to reckon with, so that we can have success stories in the ecosystem with the likes of unicorns and what have you. For those of you who already have businesses, there's FI is there. FI is the only entrepreneurship school that you go and be molded, be prepared, be guided, be structured, be analyzed, and also be prepared for the future. Once you go into FI, you can never be that person that you came again. So make sure that you don't joke with this opportunity. Register and be part of FI and be part of the next big thing. It's very, very important for you to understand that there's a startup school. there's difference between education. I always say this because a lot of people say, oh, I'm a degree holder. I mean this. There's difference between education and schooling. Schooling isn't education. Schooling earns you degrees, but education earns you practical knowledge of solving real life problems. So entrepreneurship keys to that part of education. So you need to go to that school, that education ground for startups to prepare yourself. And FI is a brutal ground. Let me be very frank with you. Nobody will pamper you there. If you are not ready, don't forget that you paid your money. If you are not ready, they will show you way out. They will teach you how to sell. They will teach you how to talk. They will teach you how to prepare your deck. They will connect you. If you're a solo founder, a lot of people, you people like this kind of attitude. You want to be a CEO. You want to be a CTO. You want to be a CFO. You want to be a CMO. You want to be a social media person. One man army. Sole proprietorship. FI will tell you, go back, go and look for, because even in marriage, you need to have a partner. You alone cannot give birth to a child. You need a partner. So in business, you need a partner. That's what we call co-founding. So FI will now educate you and convince you to go and look for a partner that you can partner with and run this business together successfully. If you're good at aviator, you don't need to be a good coder. Your partner can be the coder, can be the developer. If you're a good developer, you don't know how to structure, design business, you can get the business guy that can sell things. So it's very important for you to have it at the back of your mind on, yeah, you admire Yowole, you admire Raf, you admire Abu and the likes. But how are you preparing your mind towards that journey? It's very important. Thank you, Segun, for what you're doing. Thank you, Madam Ajuma and the team. I commend you all Abuja FI team for your resilience and push in helping the ecosystem grow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ahmed. Before I pass the baton to Lady A, the MD for FI Abuja, I want to advise everyone who is on the call today. Please, the LinkedIn links for this panelists have been shared. I would advise you, start following them. Start following every single one of them, so you get abreast of what's happening in the ecosystem. It's important for you. One of the easiest way to get information is to follow these people, because they themselves are the information carriers. So once you follow them, it simply means that you are already, in line with getting a lot of things that come up. I mean, follow Lady A, for instance, and you get everything that has to do with FI globally. Follow Mohammed, and you get to know what's happening all over the startup ecosystem. Follow Charles, you know what's happening in various hubs all around. And just follow them. Just keep following and just keep monitoring what they're doing. Lady A, it's over to you.
Wow. Great afternoon. And thank you so much. I've enjoyed every bit of this session. I just wish it would not end. And Mohammed, I take you up on this. We have to have another session.
But this time around, we're going to have 3 ladies. Shagun, okay. I actually kept quiet because you're very gender biased. I'm a gender advocate. Why can't you put 6 men in the room? Only Lady A. It's not good.
Yes,
it's not
this
good.
is part 1.
FI is
so this is part 1.
Advocate. Let's be encouraging this. I will share with you some profiles of people that we're going to bring in next time. Seriously. We need to bring in more. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, we need to bring in more women.
Because
seriously. Different background.
Yeah,
different background women,
definitely.
Not the same industry. Yeah.
Definitely. A lot has
it's better
been done,
10,
starting.
Yeah, it's better we have 10 people.
Yeah, sure.
6 women, even 4 men, or 6 men, 4 men. Yeah. So that at least it gives that collaboration and that togetherness.
Balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks, really, really happy with all the great deep insights, that have been shared, and all the stories, that we've heard, starting from how foundations have been laid and, all the building blocks in place and, how we're all plugging in, and, like Mohammed talked about bush clearing, that's groundbreaking. Well, when you clear the bush, there's the tilling and plowing of the land, and there's the planting and there's the harvesting. And like Charles rightly pointed, we're still, you know, hmm, we're still evolving, that's the word. We're still evolving in the ecosystem, but we have the political will. Thank God for that. We have the political will, in this administration, and we can really, really move faster than we ever imagined. Because if you look at one of the programs, the 3MTT program, I mean, that means that you can find tech talents. The success of that means that tech talents can be found in all the 776 local governments. That is something to applaud. And so, being that we're all parts of the ecosystem and, different parts of this value chain, advocacy needs to be ongoing. And this session is really an advocacy session to keep stimulating the ecosystem and get the buy-in of entrepreneurs and innovators and partners, agencies, be it government, be it private sector, as much as possible, and all the talents, And so I'm really, really, really grateful to all of you for, making out time and, for this session. I mean, this has been one session that you don't have the panelists like heading out to other meetings. So I'm sure you also canceled other meetings to remain here. So attendees and participants, you're really, really lucky to have heard from these great minds. And like we said, follow all of them online, follow Founder Institute online, join, plug into the network. That is how the cookie crumbles. Just plug in and be part of the network, and then you can get things done easily. And you are known for what you're doing. Referrals can be made. It makes life easy when you're building that business. You hear the story, you hear the history of people, of startups, of not the glory. With every glory comes pain, comes struggle, comes challenge, a long, arduous journey. So, and that's what the benefit from if you're part of the network, so that you know that this is how it works. This is what the requirements are. This is the need. I need to invest money, and this is how to invest my money in this aspect at this time, and not investing wrongly. So I congratulate everyone in this space, and as we're on a journey to building a great nation, Nigeria, the world needs Nigeria. Repeating the words of Chad, the world needs us. Our numbers are there. We have, huge youth population. We have the talent, but we need to develop the talent and the skills, develop the skills, for the talent, because we have the population. And so it's easy for us to dominate and solve our economic problems and, challenges, and create the much needed jobs. So that's why we're all here building and toiling. This takes a lot of our time, but because we have a mission, we have a goal. That is why we're all gathered here in this startup ecosystem to build our country. So thank you all for being here once again. Thank you all participants for being here. So our next cohort is coming up in May. May 15th is the kickoff. Application deadlines this Sunday. So do the needful and plug in and connect with us. So thank you everyone once again. Thank you to my team from FI Abuja, Mr. Shegun, Mohammed too, Catherine, Beata, back end, thank you all. And God bless Nigeria. and do have a great afternoon, everyone. Bye.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Charles, hi, guys. Panelists, you've been great. Thank you, panelists.
Mhm.